Good afternoon, Kaylee Kaneshiro. Welcome on VH Berries.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am extremely grateful because you irradiate a crisp of sensitivity, drawing the contour of your crusade with spray paint, exactly like on the mural graffitis on the top of Topanga Overlook. How are you doing today?
I'm good. What an introduction. Thank you so much. How are you?
I am doing good, and from the Topanga Overlook, we can admire an outstanding views of the Santa Monica Mountains, as well as the beaten track that you traveled. And I would love to discuss about a short film that was filmed there called Birthday Bluff.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I haven't thought about that project in a very long time.
Absolutely, Kaylee Kaneshiro. Can you tell us a little bit more about Birthday Bluff?
Yeah, of course. I don't remember much of the casting process for Birthday Bluff, but what I remember most about it was when the technology for filming in VR was still in development. So there was a lot of things that hadn't really been figured out yet, technologically speaking. So because it was shot with a VR camera, which basically means that it can shoot 360 degrees, there was like a stick in the middle of our scene with the camera on it recording completely around itself. But what that meant is that the director couldn't be anywhere near the actors. And they also hadn't developed the technology to have a monitor to be able to watch what we were doing at all. So the director, who I think his name is Scott Hipp, he had us do a few rehearsals prior to filming, prior to ever stepping on set. And we basically ironed out all of the details, everything that needed to be done. And then he locked it in prior to ever showing up on set so that once we got there, he couldn't see anything that was being done. So we kind of just had to go based off of trust once we had shot it. So it was a really interesting experience. And I've never worked with VR ever since, but it was a really, fascinating.
It was a fascinating project, Kaylee Kaneshiro. And in fact, the camera was placed on the beach in the skate park, the backseat of an open-air off-road utility vehicle, and as well as in Miles' hand and on drones. And you just underlined a very specific question. Where is director Scott Hipp? Because I believe that he was directing the short film remotely from his sofa.
No, so he was on set during that time. He just couldn't watch us directly. So I think he was hiding behind a lot of different things on set. I remember specifically the last scene where there was like a hike up to the actual bluff. He had to hide around like basically a mountain. He was a decent mileage away to be able to not be seen. So yeah, I think they got very creative with different places to hide.
Absolutely, Kaylee Kaneshiro. Scott Hipp was at a decent mile from all the crew acting in front of the camera. And I was personally not prepared for the final plot twist. And this piece of art is, I believe, part of his trilogy of short film with The Scoop, Birthday Bluff, and Don't Look.
Yes. Oh my God, that's right. I haven't thought about this in so long. It's so funny. It's like you as an actor, we do so many so many different projects. And I mean, at this point, I must have been, I think I was 15. So it's like so funny. There's so many different things that I don't remember doing that at the time were, really a big deal, because it's always so exciting to be on set. It's so interesting how your brain starts kind of like sifting through things. I mean, and at the same time, you could ask me something that I did even 2 years ago, and I think I'd be like, wow, I did that? I don't remember that. And then I always watch other actors in interviews. I'm like, there's no way they don't remember that. And then I've become that person. It's so strange.
It is, Kaylee Kaneshiro, a strange phenomenon. And by filming on that scenic spot in Topanga, California, I feel that you could have met on those rocks the character of Tanya Saunders, reflecting, concerning about her action in The Locksmith.
Yeah, they would definitely be interesting friends for sure. I wonder what their interaction would be. Where is Tanya now? I really enjoyed working on Locksmith, and I really enjoyed playing Tanya. She was the first role that I played after Legacies, and I was still on set when I received that script and started working on it. And it was so different because I'd been playing one character for however many years at that point, that then we shot in New Mexico, and it was just a completely different set, a completely different role. And yeah, I had to call multiple people in my life to say, how do you smoke a cigarette naturally? Because I had no clue how to look like a normal person who smokes regularly, because I am not a smoker. So yes, there was a few different things that I had to kind of shift gears mentally to step into Tanya.
You had to shift a certain amount of gears to play the character of Tanya Saunders, and you just asked, where is she? And I know exactly the address of Tanya Saunders, because in a particular scene, we can read that she's living at 3909 Las Laves Roads in Dos Caminos, New Mexico.
That's hilarious. I can't believe they included that. There's no way they did that on purpose. Because is the movie set in New Mexico? Is that an accident? That is hilarious.
I believe, Kaylee Kaneshiro, that it was indeed made on purpose. And I also learned that Dos Caminos is a real place in New Mexico. It is an unincorporated community located in Rio Arriba County.
No way. All right. Well, I hope she's doing well. I hope she's, gotten a different job, something a little bit safer and a little bit more steady. That's what I hope for her.
Absolutely, Kaylee Kaneshiro. We hope that she has a more steady life nowadays. And playing that specific character, you were wearing red clothes, which is also the tone of the movie poster. And this is a direct parallel with yourself, because when you play in an ensemble, you shape it through your performances.
Definitely. And I think that's been a really interesting thing throughout any acting project, is just you really can understand a tone. You can understand as much as you can when you read the script. You can speak to the director. But once you start meeting your castmates and start doing the scenes, I mean, there have been so many times where I've walked on set having a very strong idea of what my character wants and what its purpose is in the story. And the second I walk on set, all of that goes out the window because the other actor has a completely different idea in mind. And that is kind of the beautiful thing about acting, is that you have to stay adaptable, but you also have to do your homework prior so that you can be adaptable.
You have, Kaylee Kaneshiro, to do your homework to perform at your best. And in definitive, this is Kaylee crafting the Kaneshiro legacy. And I believe that you have a very particular connection with that last word.
Yeah, definitely. With legacy, is that the word?
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely. I have a very strong connection to legacy in my own life and the word because of the show Legacies.
I would love Kaylee Kaneshiro to discuss about that television series that is called Legacies, plural. Can you tell us a little bit more about playing that character named Josette Olivia Saltzman?
Definitely. I booked Josie. When I got the role of Josie, I was 20. And I got to play her up until I was 24, I believe. So that was the longest time that I'd ever been able to really sit with a character, especially with things changing so often. I mean, you can sit with a character in a theater production for that duration of time, but you're doing the same scenes every night. So to get new material every single day almost, that further developed who Josie was and revealed her more and more to me, was truly like the biggest learning experience of my life as an actor. I had trained with Warner Laughlin and studied Stella Adler technique, but I didn't quite know how it worked for me in such a quick turnover, and to be able to really refine what works for me and what gets me to the place that I need to be able to successfully tell a story within the confines of being on set and the time that you have. It was a really, really like invaluable experience as an actor to be able to learn just more and more about myself every single day as a person and then also as an actor.
Absolutely, Kaylee Kaneshiro, learning about yourself as a human, but also as an actress. And when I was examining that television series, I felt that having a twin sister was very special. And I am wondering how you would compare it to the Kane Kaneshiro and Kaylee Kaneshiro relationship.
Oh, it's so funny you ask. My brother was just here. Very different. Very, very different. My brother and I grew up absolutely hating each other. It's so funny how that happens. And we're very close now, but as children up into our teen years, we were not meant to ever live under the same roof. So I was very jealous, I think, that Josie and Lizzie have the relationship that they do. Of course, you know, that they had their issues naturally. But yeah, I think maybe in the end, my relationship with my brother is much healthier than Josie's and Lizzie's, maybe the deeper you go into it. But Josie and Lizzie seem to have a lot of fun together for sure.
Josie and Lizzie seems to have a lot of fun as well. And this project represents multiple years of your life and your journey. What is and what are your most memorable moments and memories?
Oh, it's so hard to say. I think, it's hard to say. There are so many moments that come to mind. And of course now everything goes blank. I guess I think about my first day on set and meeting the entire crew for the first time, And our first day, Jenny and I was just like I think the only words that we say was like, I'm Josie. And so it's like you have the most simple words to say, which is like so lucky, because I think that I was just so nervous. I mean, I had done 2 pilots prior to Legacies that I had booked as a series regular, and everybody was saying, the show is going to go on for X amount of years, and like, this is your life. And that didn't end up happening. So to then go on to Legacies and have already the success of the Vampire Diaries and the originals that I had watched, and was a fan of myself, it all felt very surreal, I think, as an actor, because I think it was my dream job in so many ways to be able to step onto that set. So I think a lot about the first day, I guess, in terms of just everything seemed so magical, even the sets too, because I don't know, I grew up watching movies like The Goonies, where the kids are walking on this huge pirate ship and it's all practical. You can tell that they're walking through this real pirate ship that really incredible artists built. And so walking onto the sound stages for Legacies and seeing that they had built this like incredibly detailed library with these functioning fireplaces, and all of it just kind of felt like, oh, I work at Disneyland now, and like all the fun bits of Disneyland are my life now. So yeah, it was a dream come true in a lot of ways.
It was a dream come true, Kaylee Kaneshiro. And in addition to that very first day on the filming of Legacies, you might have hidden behind you a personal or secret journal in which there are all the best memories of the set. That is why you forgot it all now.
Yeah, well, the journal really, it's hard to, because the journal I only did through Josie's point of view. It's so funny because like I have all of my journals right here next to me that are for all of the characters that I've played, except my Josie journal. My Josie journal is in Georgia still with my mom, but I was going through my journal for a character coming up, and then these pages fell out, and they were Josie pages that I clearly did on a like separate notepad when I was away from my Josie journal, but they're all here, and I was looking at it going like, what? I can't believe that happened in the show and that Josie had to deal with that. But yeah, I still have quite a bit of Josie information hidden in different places in even my house right now. So that's a strange thing to process.
It is a strange thing to process. And talking about legacy, it is time to discover and remove the curtain on the Kaneshiro legacy, because 10 years ago was the year 2014, and exactly 10 years ago you achieved a back-to-back with Mary Loss of Soul and Porty Slasher, and in sport terminology, we would call that a back-to-back games with a home run.
Definitely. Yeah, God, that's so interesting that was that long. I guess I believe that it's that long ago. I feel like it's even longer ago than that. But yeah, Mary Loss of Soul, I think I was 15 maybe 14 when we filmed that. That was also just so like exciting that I was like playing Mary in Mary Loss of Soul. I was like, am I famous? Like, is this it? That was a lot of fun. We shot that in Massachusetts, I believe. And it was just so much fun to be, because I mean, I think I was in like every single scene. It was very overwhelming, but just like such a dream come true. I think all I really was thinking then was like, I just want to be working. And I just want to be on set. And I learn something new every single time I'm on set, especially, I think as a kid, I only thought of myself really as an actor. So I was only paying attention to the other actors to see like, okay, how are they handling themselves? But I think that I feel secure enough in myself now as an adult that, especially from being on set so much with Legacies, that now I can kind of sit back and go, okay, like, how does a DP handle themselves on set? How does a producer handle themselves on set? And how does a director handle themselves on set? Because maybe those are some things that I would want to step into at some point in my life. And as an actor, it all directly affects you. But I think I was very unaware of that as a kid. I think I was just like, happy to be there. So now, of course, I'm still happy to be on set, but it's a very different kind of lens, I think, that I look at things on set now.
Absolutely, Kaylee Kaneshiro, you were happy to be on set as well as happy to be on every single scene of Marie-Luce of Soul, because you were indeed playing the main character named Marie Solis. And yes. I believe that those two pieces of art that you made 10 years ago, they coexist and they will stay forever.
Definitely. That's the interesting thing about like the digital age, is like somebody will always be able to find it. Like I was thinking even now, like, oh yeah, how can I watch like party slashers? I haven't seen it. I don't think I even saw it when they don't tell us these things as actors. Like sometimes things just come out and you don't even know that they're out. But yeah, God, I would love to watch Marie-Luce of Soul at my age now. I think I don't actually think I'd be able to do it. I think I'd be way too embarrassed.
Furthermore, Kaylee Kaneshiro, you may have sometimes to maybe not watch, but listen to those two movies and this short film called Party Slasher, because between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, there is a 4 hours drive, which gives you the time to replace your music with those
definitely
with those pieces of art.
Definitely. I know that drive very well. That's how I got into this industry. It's my family photographer. I was around 7 or 8 years old, and we had a family photographer come to just take photos of my family. And one of the main photographers, she said, you know, she's really shy, but she seems like she really opens up for the camera. You should think about submitting her to agencies in Los Angeles. And of course, my mom was like, okay, that sounds fun. So she did. And I ended up getting signed with an agency, for a modeling agency. And my mom would drive me to modeling go-sees, which was a 4-hour drive to Los Angeles and then a 4-hour drive back to Vegas, all just for, at the time, I don't know how modeling go-sees go now, but at the time it was like you'd wait an hour to then get a Polaroid picture of yourself taken, and they'd say like, thank you so much, and that was it. Luckily, it worked out for me, and I'm very grateful for my mother for giving me that opportunity, but I look back now and I go, that is crazy. I can't believe that she did that. It's a crazy thing to do. But yeah, I started out as a model at 8.
Absolutely, Kaylee Kaneshiro. In definitive, by looking back years after now, we can say that every miles was worth it. And what music were you actually listening during those drives?
Oh gosh, I only listened to musical theater. I guess nothing has changed at all, but I only listened to like the Wicked original Broadway soundtrack. I was listening only to like Sutton Foster and Thoroughly Modern Millie. That was all I ever listened to. And that was really what I wanted to do when I started thinking of myself as an actor, was like, oh, I'm going to be a Broadway star. Things have gone differently. But that was definitely the dream as a kid, was like, I want to be the next Sutton Foster or Bernadette Peters. So that was all I listened to. And that's how I kind of got into acting and pivoted from modeling. Was I was doing children's theater growing up in Vegas. I was in so many different dance classes and vocal lessons and all of these things. And I was so painfully, uncomfortably shy that I would go, my mom would drive me 4 hours to these auditions, and they would like ask me my name and I just couldn't answer. And so I think musical theater is what brought out the obnoxious side of me. It's a good thing for kids to get into if you need them to open up a bit. Now you can't get me to shut up. It's just how it works.
This is how it now works, Kaylee Kaneshiro. And you mentioned the verb pivoting, because this is what you did from, as you just mentioned, modeling to acting. And something and an object that we shouldn't pivotate or spin is definitely the bottle.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Once the movie comes out, you'll learn to not touch the bottle and do not spin the bottle. Yes, definitely.
I mentioned those 3 words because you have a feature film named Spin the Bottle that is coming out on Paramount on the 4th of October. And the trailer was actually released yesterday, and I watched it.
Oh yeah, it's
in
scary.
The dark.
Oh no.
In the train on my way back from Toronto, and the table was also shaking. So that added even more fear.
Yeah, it's so funny how those things happen, because you're filming it and you see how everything's done. So I was like, oh yeah, like this is just like a psychological film. And, you know, there are some aspects of it that I guess are scary. And then I watched the trailer, I was like, oh yeah, this is a scary movie. It's just, there's a very big difference in doing it as an actor and then actually seeing it with the music and the editing and all of it. It's very, very fun to see.
It is. And this is going to be very fun to see on the 4th of October. And because this project is in the present time, you will remember it very well.
Yes.
At the complete opposite of Birthday Bluff. So can you tell us a little bit more about Spin the Bottle?
Definitely. We filmed Spin the Bottle about almost a year and a half ago now. And it was such a fun experience. We shot it here in Los Angeles. I got to work with Justin Long, who is the most just professional and smart and funny person that got to play my dad. He was just such a fun person to work with, and a huge ensemble cast as well. And it was really difficult at times, and then also so fun. The journal that I just pulled out was actually the Casey journal that I wrote while getting into character for her. I think with horror specifically, it kind of takes not more work, but a different type of work, because the stakes are so high. To me, you can deal with sort of, death or high stakes situations in your life, and what makes them affect you so much in the moment when you get the news and the moments post getting the news is the history that you've had with a person. I mean, I guess that's how I personally feel. So to become Casey and to really truthfully tell the story that I thought needed to be told to do justice to the story, took a lot of journaling and a lot of building each person in the friend group so that it all paid off once the cameras were rolling. So I had a lot of fun building Casey, and I have like so much information on her and these characters that nobody will ever know. And that's like totally okay, because I just had so much fun doing it. And I'm so excited to see it. I haven't even seen it yet. So yeah, I'm excited to see everybody's reactions, and I'm excited to see it as well.
In conclusion, this movie is an innocent game turned sinister. Thank you very much, Kaylee Kaneshiro.
Thank you. Oh.